My marriage felt like a fortress, built on 12 years of trust, laughter, and shared dreams. Or so I thought. The first crack appeared subtly, a late-night text she tried to hide, a sudden password on her phone. Little things. But they added up, planting a seed of doubt that grew into a gnawing certainty. I wasn't just being paranoid. Something was terribly wrong. My wife, the person I trusted more than anyone in the world, was living a double life. The discovery phase was a quiet, cold war fought within the walls of our own home. I became a detective in my own life story. I started with the phone records. Late-night calls to a number I didn't recognize. Then, I found the second, hidden social media profile. It was like looking at a stranger wearing my wife's face. The photos, the messages, it was all there. A full-blown affair with a man from her office, a guy I'd met at company parties, a man I'd shaken hands with. The betrayal was a physical blow, knocking the air from my lungs. But I didn't confront her, not yet. Anger is a powerful fuel, but I knew I needed a plan, not just a shouting match, so I channeled my heartbreak into a mission. My first step was to secure my own finances. I quietly opened a new bank account and started redirecting a portion of my salary. I consulted a lawyer not to file for divorce immediately, but to understand my rights and the legal ramifications of what I was planning. Knowledge was my armor. The lawyer advised me on what kind of evidence would be admissible in court. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about protecting my future. I needed to be meticulous, patient, and leave no room for error. The next part was the hardest. I had to continue living a lie, just as she was. I smiled at her, asked about her day, and listened to her stories, all while knowing they were woven with deception. Every "I love you," she said, felt like a twist of the knife. I installed a discreet voice-activated recorder in her car. It was a legal gray area, but my lawyer had explained the specifics for our state. I also put a GPS tracker on the car. It felt like a violation, but I reminded myself that the trust in our marriage had already been shattered. I wasn't the one who broke it. The recorder and GPS painted a vivid, heartbreaking picture. I listened to their conversations, their laughter, their plans. They met at hotels, at parks, even at his house when his own family was away. They talked about me, about how oblivious I was. They planned a future together, a future built on the ruins of my own. I downloaded every recording, every location log. I saved every text message and every photo I had found. I created a digital fortress of evidence, each file a brick in the wall I was building around her lies. The final piece of evidence came from a private investigator my lawyer recommended. It was expensive, but I saw it as an investment in my peace of mind. The PI delivered a set of high-resolution photos of my wife and her lover checking into a hotel, holding hands, looking every bit the couple they were trying to be behind my back. Seeing the physical proof was gut-wrenching, but it was also empowering. I now had everything I needed. The storm was ready to break. Her birthday was coming up, and she wanted a big party. She had always loved being the center of attention, surrounded by friends and family. It was the perfect stage. She spent weeks planning it, booking a fancy restaurant, sending out invitations to everyone we knew, our parents, siblings, closest friends, and even some of her colleagues, including her lover. She asked me to prepare a special slideshow of our best moments together to show at the party. The irony was almost too much to bear, but I agreed with a smile. It was the perfect opportunity. The night of the party arrived. She was radiant, glowing with a happiness that I knew wasn't for me. She mingled, laughed, and accepted compliments, completely unaware of the tidal wave that was about to hit. Everyone was there. My parents, her parents, our friends who had been at our wedding. The atmosphere was celebratory, full of warmth and love, all of it, a facade. My heart was pounding, but my resolve was like steel. After the main course, it was time for the toasts and my slideshow. My wife beamed at me, expecting a heartfelt tribute. I stood up, cleared my throat, and the room fell silent. "I've prepared a little presentation," I began, my voice steady. "It's about love, trust, and the secrets we keep." The first few slides were normal pictures from our wedding, vacations, happy moments. People smiled and murmured appreciatively. My wife squeezed my hand under the table. Then the music changed. The smiling photos were replaced by screenshots of her secret messages. Gasps rippled through the room. The next slide showed the phone logs of her late-night calls. Then came the GPS logs, a map tracking her car to hotels and to his house. Her face went pale. Her parents looked confused, then horrified. Her friends stared, mouths agape. The finale was the private investigator's photos displayed in high definition on the large screen for everyone to see. There she was, kissing him, walking into a hotel with him. His face was clearly visible. His own wife wasn't at the party, but several of his colleagues were. Their expressions were a mixture of shock and disgust. I let the last photo hang in the air for a moment before I spoke again. "So, happy birthday, darling," I said, my voice dripping with ice. "I believe you all know this man. He's been a very close friend to my wife." I looked directly at her lover, who looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him whole. My wife was frozen, tears streaming down her face, her perfect party crumbling around her. Her father stood up and walked out without a word. Mother just stared at the screen in disbelief. The silence was deafening. I picked up an envelope I had placed on the table. I walked over to her, dropped it in front of her, and said, "These are the divorce papers. They've already been filed. My lawyer will be in touch with yours." Then I turned to her lover. "And for you," I said, holding up a second envelope. "This is a package of all the evidence, which will be sent to your wife and your HR department first thing Monday morning. I hope it was worth it." I didn't wait for a response. I walked out of that restaurant, leaving behind the wreckage of her lies. I didn't look back. The feeling wasn't triumph. Not really. It was a profound, gut-wrenching sadness, but also a sense of release. It was the end of a chapter, a painful but necessary amputation. The road ahead would be difficult, but for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe again. I had taken back control of my life. My fortress had been breached and burned, but I was the one who walked away from the ashes, ready to rebuild on solid ground. Thank you for listening.